Hey y'all, Coach in the Fight here. Yep, that's right. We're gonna go take a look at iPad Goat, something I've been planning on doing or threatening to do for a number of years now. But I'm gonna go ahead and look at it. Um, a lot of people have done a lot of analysis, a lot of great analysis on it, but I haven't seen a few points, and I just wanted to pull out a few very particular points. Okay, one of the first things I want to point out is this picture here. Now, this would be of President George Bush using some hand symbols, but now we recognize these hand symbols are being as being well, what this is showing you, first of all, by the hand sitting, is showing that he was casting like a spell on us. I'm not sure what all of that means. But now look here in the background here where you see this brain is splitting here, and then there's this symbol here. And a lot of people bring this out, stuff out. Let me see. I just want to bring out some very, very specific stuff. Now, look here. This is President Obama here. Now, you see all the symbolism in the back. Like I said, a lot of people have done a lot of great videos analyzing this stuff, including this map up here and what all of these symbols here. And they talk about this laugh out loud part. The part I want to bring out is how Obama was basically he had a job to do, and that was use, this teleprompter thing kind of, to basically tell us a very, very, very specific message. The next one is right here. I think this is the last time we see President Obama in this video, but we see there's Psalms 23 right there on the wall. Now, this is the next slide, or the next slide that I wanted to bring out. Now, when you notice in here, you see the American flag, but right when the American flag is the first appeared, you notice that it is torn in half, but there is one star still attached to it. Now, whether that's talking about Texas, and all of the stuff they're going through, or whether it's talking about California and how it's prophesied to, or prophesied to fall into the ocean, I'm not sure. But I did want to bring out that the fact that the flag is torn and there's one star associated with it. Now there's a clock here that's pointing at 12 o'clock, and then that could be pointing at like the doomsday clock. You can look on the web about the doomsday clock and how when this clock supposedly strikes 12 o'clock, that's when we basically in doomsday. All right, let's go on. All right, here in this scene right here, you'll notice back that these two things people keep calling the Twin Towers, they're definitely two Twin Towers, and they fall similar to the towers there in New York, but they're shaped in the form of body figures, and to me, it makes it look like a male and a female type figure, and like maybe we're destroying the family kind of deal there. It's kind of odd that it's in this part of the video when everything else seems to be in some type of chronological order. You have the Towers falling after the appearance of President Obama, which doesn't make sense unless you think of it as something other than Twin Towers. Then over here we have the first time you see this figure here. Now this figure we're going to see all throughout the video. He is the representation of the destroyer, which is supposed to be a mythological figure that comes back to the planet Earth to destroy the planet Earth, doing a dance on some molecular level, and you know that this is the same symbol that they use over there in CERN and all that they're doing, so you can imagine what he's actually representing here. Now, this is really where I want to talk about here, and I may start the video over because I really haven't heard anybody pull out this part here. This is why I wanted to do the video in the first place, is because of these parts here where we're dealing with this figure here we see in that's portrayed in this screen like a television. Well, notice it's like an old, very old, rounded television. It's almost black and white here. And then this figure here is in the egg. This is the representation of humanity, but it's in an egg-like state. It has a hand over here. We don't. This looks like the same hand of we saw earlier with satanic hand, and then it also has a snake over here. But notice how it's kind of immature. Everything in this picture, including the picture, the baby, and everything is kind of immature. Now, after we see that scene, we start to see this scene here where we're going to see the Antichrist figure show up. But notice before we see the Antichrist figure show up, we see all of these Egyptian type of symbols. This right here is on an Egyptian boat of death or something weird. So the Antichrist symbol, the Antichrist is riding on this 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 boat here. Now, I wanted to bring this part out right here is because after we see this Antichrist figure, we notice all of this symbology going on with him. He's got a heart on his chest. He's got all these other symbols. He even has a wreath on his head. But you notice he has like this all-seeing eye on his head. And what's strange is that we're going to see that other figure that we saw again with the egg and the television and the snake and all of that. But notice how it generates out of this thing right on his eye, like it comes out of his third eye, like it's gonna. I believe I might be able to show you the video how it does it here. Let's see how it generates out of the eye. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, see how it came out of the eye, and I have to show it in slow motion there. Now, before we get to this guy here, we can see a little bit of detail here. Notice how he has the same symbol off of our dollar bill right here. How all of this is silver around all of his hair is made of silver, even his teeth look silver, and then he has gold around, so he's kind of the representation of a dollar figure kind of dude. But notice him here. Here he is in the screen. Here's the TV screen. There's the same snake-like figure that had a hold of the egg dude, but the egg dude now has grown up. He's grown up. But this right here is really the scene I wanted to bring out now. I hate to put images on my thing. I'm gonna have to go and have to blur this out or something like that. But notice all of these pills here. This is the part I want to pull out. It has like some golfing tees here, and then it also has some pills here. Now, what this represents to me is that this figure on this screen, which is being sent to us through our television screens, is kind of thing, is portraying the message from the bankers and from those people who are kind of over our economic state, giving them through our televisions the control over our minds. And he's also using things like medication, which the Bible calls sorcery and such, to kind of program us into this kind of state where this figure is really kind of disturbed. Watch him a little bit in high X. Okay, he's kind of doped up there. It's kind of show you. All while we have this figure here looming over his head. Remember, he's in his head. Remember, the snake is still in his head. He's a broken man, that his head is broken or somehow right there. But this dollar figure's in his head. But notice one thing about this dollar dude up here. I don't have any other name to call him. But notice he has one eye. He has one eye. One of his eyes is missing. His right eye is missing. Now, this is a biblical reference back letting us know that these are the Jewish people that we're talking about. The Jewish people this is the representation of the Jewish people, and we know that by the missing eye here. Like I said, you can go back and look at, in the scripture what it talks about, putting eyes out and that sort of thing. All right, but let's go on. There you go. That was another one where I was showing you his eye, missing eye. Now here, I wanted to bring this out because a lot of people are pointing this out. I watched videos where the guy showed he showed how it says the market's plunge on one side, and over here it says war coverage on the other side in this person's eyes. But after we see this, that the market plunges and that that there's war going on. Notice that it's after this that the guy starts to recover. And I'm gonna have to push the mute button here somewhere. Let me see. Okay. Well, and you'll notice that he starts to recover. Now, here comes these little jet things flying in to do what? To destroy the temple there. Now notice it is a Muslim temple by the little symbol there. So this is a representation of the mosque there, or what do they call it? The Dome of the Rock there. And remember, the plan is to destroy it. If you know anything about what's going on with Donald Trump and the Jews and all of that, the Jewish people that bailed him out and all that, the agenda is to destroy that temple, that Dome of the Rock. But notice right here, when after the temple is destroyed, how stuff starts coming out. This is a representation, of Bible prophecy that there will be demons unleashed. Now, this is saying that they're unleashed from the dome of the rock, and I can't argue. I don't know enough to argue whether they're actually supposed to come out of the dome of the rock. But you'll notice that these black birds are representing demons that are coming out of this thing. Jumping over here now, this dove-like figure looks like a butterfly right here, but this white dove flying figure right here to me represents like the Holy Spirit and how this Antichrist is squelching the Holy Spirit and that kind of thing. But I could be wrong on that. Now this is big right here, guys. This is huge right here. First of all, notice this figure has a halo around the head. Now, the halo around the head always represented angelic or saintess type people in the Catholic Church, right? If you do too much studying on the halo, you'll start to find out that it has darker meanings or such. But it does represent angelic figures for us people who don't study as much. Is kind of what they want us to know, is that it's an angelic figure. So they're portraying this figure right here as an angelic figure. But notice it has a vial in his hand, and this vial, I called it at this very second right here because it's like this nuke in the back is coming out of this vial here. And when you read Revelations, we do know that the angel, when he puts out, a certain vial, it sounds very much like a nuke. And I think this is what they're trying to portray here, is that this angel is delivering this nuke right here. Then I want to come over to here. Now here you got this guy that's starting to gain a little bit of strength here. See, he's starting to try to stand up. But at the same time, you notice this dollar kind of figure standing over him and grilling him. He's really, harking down on him the same way. I can imagine he's saying something like, look, I want my money. You got the house, you got the car. Where is my money? Give me my money. Kind of deal. Bill collectors kind of. That's what I'm hearing from this guy here. Now let's go on. Now, here in this figure, I think this is the one. Let me see. Yeah. Here in this figure here, the way this guy comes through, the way he comes through this thing, to me, it's different glasses and such. To me, it's representing something transcending through time or transcending through dimensions. I shouldn't have said time. Transcending through dimensions, as if the Antichrist spirit, which we have seen so far, he's been asleep. He's been kind of, on this boat, and he's kind of had his eyes closed, and he kind of in this hypnotic kind of state. He's been asleep, but he's going to wake up. You've watched this video enough to know that he wakes up. But notice before that, he kind of goes through this thing right here, where there's something coming through other dimensions, like he comes through some dimension and then he wakes up. Well, we know that the Antichrist himself, if you study, the apocalypse of Elijah, you know that the Antichrist, and you can study Daniel in other place, the Antichrist figure is a human figure just like us that has some authority, but he suffers a deadly head wound. He suffers a deadly head wound, meaning the cat should have died, but he didn't. He comes back. But the problem, through the modern medicine and, technology, they bring the man back. The problem is that he comes back. He's not the same person anymore. He comes back as a different person. And I think that's what they're showing us here, is that they bring this spirit or this being through the dimensions and put him into this Antichrist figure, where he then comes to life. And of course he starts, tearing stuff up. Now here, this is the Antichrist figure. He's on this Egyptian boat, but notice that he's in this thing that they call in the birth canal here. They're going to show the birth of the Antichrist as portrayed in this iPad Go video. They're showing he's being birthed, and a lot of people have brought this out. So I'm gonna go ahead. Notice here that all of the people, I call it people, but the fish are jumping into the boat. The fish are jumping into the boat. This is prophecy that the majority of the people are going to flock to the Antichrist, and that's what it's showing you here. Then you have this symbol here. Now I want to avoid some of it, but notice this up here where you have this unfolding of this thing coming from heaven. Then you have this hand that comes. This is obviously representing the Father or the Creator, but notice this light beam that's coming out. It's like he's delivering light. Now we teach the third testament of the Bible, guys, and we understand that the light representing enlightenment. So what's being portrayed in the other scene is the enlightenment of who? Of the church. Right here is what it's showing. For some reason, it's enlightening the Catholic Church, who is represented by this harlot in this building here. There's the love symbol, which is kind of saying, one religion symbol. It's the symbol of one religion. We love everybody kind of symbol. And then you got the harlot, who is behind there inside this phallus symbol, which represents, the Vatican, all of that. This is obviously the Catholic Church. But I did see there's your beam of light still shining on the church. Now, if you look at what happens to her next, I'm not going to show a lot of this, but, once that light hits her, notice this dance she does. Like she's trying to, let me see, I don't know if I show any more of it. No, I skip all over it. But notice the dance that she does where she's kind of like trying to, it's like the light is shining on her and it's kind of doing something to her. You'll notice in that. But now look over here. You notice right here in this scene here is the water is breaking. The Antichrist is about to be born. Now, if this thing has any chronological order to it, you see the enlightening of the church followed by the birth of the Antichrist. He's not quite born yet. But when he starts to be born, notice he rises up out of these guys to me represent business people here. I've heard some other people talk about it, and yeah, it looks like business people. Notice how he rises up, but then he kind of destroys them all. Well, this is prophecy, guys. This is biblical prophecy. The economy will be destroyed. All of the stuff that supports, how we're able to get food, clothing, and shelter and such is going away. And so what it's showing here is that the Antichrist figure has something to do with it. What they're trying to show in this iPad Go video is that the Antichrist is what actually has something to do with destroying of the economy. And I can't quite say that matches up, but hey. Then notice after the economy is destroyed, there's a lot going on in this video. First of all, this dude that's been harking over this man, which we said represented humanity, and kind of talking down to him, saying, hey, get my money. Notice he's running off. Now that the businessmen have been destroyed, the business and all of the economy has been destroyed, now this guy's now squirming away. He's trying to get away. He's running. But notice also this other stuff that's in the air. There's nuclear fallout. Watch it. See that? It's like it's snowing. To me, was representing like a nuclear winter kind of thing. Right? And that's what it looks like to me with this, and that was in the other scene as well. We're going to start to see our little man here get up on his feet and walk away now that this guy has let him go. This dollar dude, has let him go. We'll see our egghead dude, which represents us, and all of our drugs and our, golf and stuff, which represents our, toys and stuff that we are infatuated with. He's finally let us go in this, nuclear winter looking thing, maybe this volcanic ash, or I don't know what this is. But once he's gone, then the egghead dude is able to get on his feet and walk away. Right here, you see him start to get up. He's still broken. He still has part of him over here, but he still has the strength. He still gets on his feet, and he still walks away with it as if he has some type of resolve about him, as if he's strong. Then over here, now back to the dome of rock, the rock that was destroyed. Now, all of the smoke has come out, all of the birds have come out, and they're all flying away. But notice this guy here that starts to come up out of this figure. Now, we skipped on him a little earlier, I don't know how I got over him, but this right here is the Antichrist. That other figure, he was kind of a representation of the Antichrist, and it could be maybe we're asked to put the two figures together, the guy in the boat together with this guy here. This is definitely the Antichrist. You can tell by this eye that they show that he has this eye thing on his eye. If you study anything about the Antichrist, you know that he is of a Hebrew nature. That's why they keep acting like Obama is him, because Obama is of a Hebrew, descendant. And so they keep acting like he's a Hebrew. That's why this guy is represented as dark-skinned. But notice he has slick hair, which Obama doesn't have slick hair. This is talking about a relative of the chosen people, not necessarily, Obama, but maybe one of Obama's cousins. But he has this thing on his over his eye which identifies it clear who he is. And then he rises up and does this kind of dance there over the thing. Now, I want to jump back over here to this figure here. We said was the destroyer, but notice he's even lighting up too. There's light here too. Remember that the father, the creator figure, he gave this light, but he wouldn't. There's no way he would have just given it to the Catholic Church. He would have given it to everybody, 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 including the bad people. And this right here is one of the bad people. Remember, this is the destroyer that destroys the planet. Well, he has his light too. And notice what he does with it. He starts doing his dance and doing all of this stuff. And notice all of this stuff that comes up out of the ground and all of the other stuff. Let me play a little bit of it. Okay, he's doing his dance and he has all this other stuff. But watch this. Right here, notice these shark figures, and I know you guys are gonna have to go watch the whole video so you can see some of this stuff. But these shark figures, these represents demons, right? Other people have brought that out. But notice that this figure, notice that his face has changed now. He's a different figure now. Watch him, he's gonna change again. See right here, he's kinda got claws, kind of a bear. You know, he's changing from different animals. He's gonna change again. Watch. Now he's kind of a bird and he has wings. But watch here, he changes again. Watch. I think yeah. Now he's kind of, you know, he's kind of morphing. He has a little bit of the bird, a little bit of other stuff going on. And notice when you notice he's dancing around this fire. And then there's definitely CERN here. He's doing something over in CERN in order to do what he's doing himself. He's whatever he's getting in order to make him go through these changes that he's going through has something to do with this flame over here that he's dancing around. This flame that he's dancing around to me represents that whole CERN machine over there. Now notice here his last transformation. Not only is he lit up, but everything else is lit up. And what? He looks like a man. He looks like a man figure. He done went through lion look fear, leopards. He done went through bears and eagles and all kinds of stuff. Now he's back to a man, and he's enlightened. Notice notice his face and how he's overjoyed by this thing, this new thing that he's gotten, and it's like he's gotten it through CERN. Then right here is the birth. Right here is the birth. He's about to come out of the hole. The Antichrist figure comes out of the hole. This is the that's the birth canal as he comes through. Then okay, now so he's come out here. Now I don't want to show his face, you know, for obvious reasons or whatever. But I did want to catch as much of it as I could because notice after he walks away, you have the destruction of the church. This right here is the church, the Catholic Church, the Vatican. All of this is represented by here, and it's like this Antichrist figure okays or if even signals the destruction of that church. If you watch him closely, he kind of gives a head nod right before the buildings start to fall. Then there's something here that I wanted to show out, but my screen is kind of dim and I can't really see what's going on in it. Let me push the pause button. Okay, I can't really see it, but you'll watch the video again. And at the end of the scene, toward the end of the scene, you have another prophecy, and that's something coming from behind the sun and destroying Egypt. That's why it's knocking over these Egyptian symbols here because it's going to destroy Egypt. Not, you know, the Egypt over there in the Middle East, but the modern day Egypt, which is represented by which represents our economy and such. All right, I think there's going to be, let's see if there's any more. Nope, that's it. All right, guys. So I wanted to put this up. Just hopefully you guys who still put up these videos will take some of this information that you haven't heard and add it to your video, especially with the egghead dude. That's the one I really wanted to bring out, the egghead dude, and particularly those pills and the little thing. Those are used to harm us and such. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna leave it with that. Godspeed, Hermes Academy. Power, patience, continence, and faith. We teach virtue.